Okay, this is our fourth bonus session of Vaults of Shadow for Dungeon World. I want to just briefly recap where we were at last time. Um, you're crawling through the home of Vatulan, the head collector, on a mission for the Shadow Court. And Vatulan, it turns out his home is protected by a number of magical traps that he received as payment from other wizards and sorcerers he had been working with in the past. And one of those magical traps teleported Fraser's character Derail to the tomb, prison, subterranean lair of a lich who has not identified himself at present, but who we know out of character is a figure known as Old King Smule. And so that's kind of where we're at. We have to figure out what's going to happen with Twilight because Christo's not with us. I think it's going to depend on it's going to depend a great deal on how Aubrey and Talia respond to this situation. If you guys decide to go help Derail, we could just say that Twilight cowards out or whatever, right? It does not follow. If you choose to just leave Derail to his fate, then we'll figure something else out. In any case, I want to just basically I'm just going to kind of slightly retcon or the last scene from last time. I want to just do that again, basically. So, Derail, you have inadvertently disturbed the creature who was sleeping inside this large sarcophagus atop this big platform / plinth in the middle of this small lake of bones, right? And the lid slid off and fell heavily to the ground. And this lich rose up from it, very skeletal in appearance, just bits of dried, desiccated flesh here and there, draped in moldering robes and jewelry, right? With a sort of angular boned crown resting on his head. And he floated up about 10 or 15 feet in the air from the sarcophagus. Imagine the scene. You're in this big cavernous space lit by multicolored fairy fire with all these bones around you and this lich just there, like floating in the middle of all of it. And the lich outstretched his hand and began speaking, but not to you, Derail. He began speaking to you, Aubrey, because you have a mental connection with Derail right now, which apparently expands pretty far across the I don't know, maybe it's part of the magic or whatever, I don't know, but you're able to still have your contact. And the lich is staring directly at you with empty sockets, right? And he says, "You have sent an insect to steal my bone crown. An insect that I will crush presently. But first, who are you? Why do you seek my power?" What do you do, Aubrey?
Okay.
Oh, and just as a reminder, the bones are beginning to rattle, right? I described it previously as sounding like a cacophonous rain stick, right? And the bones are kind of like swelling and rising up and beginning to swirl, like as if in a cyclone around the platform.
So am I able, okay, in this mental connection to Derail, is every word that I say communicated, or is it just my choosing? Is that an established like trope or not?
It's up to you. I'll let you kind of define it however you wish.
All right,
in any case, the magic of this particular circumstance, maybe something about the teleportation trap or whatever is like heightening it all. You can kind of have it be whatever you want.
Right. Okay. trying to decide whether or not to address this Smool first, or my compatriots. I think I want to tell Twilight and Talia what's going on first.
You could be describing it like you could be narrating it in real time, right?
Okay. And then I guess I say to Smool, has Vatulan trapped you here as well?
I do not know this name you speak.
Well, for us, you're trapped. You're a pawn in the army of Vatulan, the Beheader, and we are trying to destroy him. Return our friend to us, and we'll be on our way, and we will help free you from his clutches.
Out of character, this is untrue, but I like the idea of maybe him being so addled by time being in this sarcophagus that he's possibly susceptible to this. And so do a Defy Danger Charisma to see if this flies.
That is a 7 plus. Where am I? 7 plus 1, 8.
He kind of cocks his head to the side a little bit, like a dog that's trying to understand a brand new command from his owner. A glint of recognition, but not quite understanding what you're saying. And he says, yes, yes, held against my will. Tell me of this Vatulan. Why does he seek to bind me so?
He thinks of you as you're a dog on a leash. You're a dog on a leash guarding. You're a guard dog. You are you bark at passersby. That is what he thinks of you.
And I think he is paying attention to you. I don't know if he's completely buying this story, but Derail, you can, because of your connection with Aubrey, you perceive what's taking place right now, right? And the Lich is distracted. What do you do, Derail?
I guess I'll look around for a way to leave.
Yeah, you can be scoping the situation out irrespective of what you find. So roll plus wisdom.
Okay. Yes, we'll see what happens. I'm just like, oh shit, could be pissing him off. At least I have good wisdom. But it doesn't matter because I roll snake eyes.
I think that you, whether you mean to or not, you kind of like step up to the platform, and maybe you just instinctively have your hand on your sword hilt, right? You have a sword, right? And I think like at that moment, even though you weren't intending it, I think he like spins around in the air and sees you and thinks that you were trying to like stab him in the back or strike him from behind, right? And a single word echoes out. It echoes out to you, Derail. It echoes out to you, Aubrey. It echoes out to you, Talia. Treachery. And there's just like Aubrey and Talia, I think you find. So here's what happens. Aubrey begins muttering words that you don't recognize, Talia. It's definitely some kind of incantation or spell, as if this lich creature is basically possessing Aubrey from a distance and casting a spell right here in this space where you're at, Talia. You, Derail, you are horrified to see that all the bones are flying toward the Lich and forming around his body as if to make a sort of like a titanic bone power suit, okay, that he is like kind of nestled in the middle of, right? You've got a minute while this is forming up, but that's what's going on. Meanwhile, Talia, Aubrey's eyes have kind of rolled into the back of her head, and she just begins like muttering these words. What do you
do? So if I remember last time, we were outside the entrance to the room, the northeast room that he had seemingly gone into with other people before, right?
You guys thought it was that where he has the heads, yeah. That's what.
And what was it that actually took Derail to the bone plane?
He just touched the door.
Just touched the door. Well, I think it's probably. Well, guess we don't have much of a choice anymore, do we? And I think I probably just grab Aubrey and
I wouldn't do that, to be honest. Like I know that you're very like heroic and stuff, but I'm pretty sure from what I remember of Kingsfield that you don't want to fuck with this guy.
I'm sure I don't want to, but maybe. Yeah, and I look over to Twilight, and maybe she's just like frantically like backing away.
I think frantically is like, yeah, I think that you're right. Twilight's like kind of backing up, right?
So I definitely want to like push us together here, but I'm wondering if there's any sort of advantage or anything I could do while I'm still in this place, or anything I could take with me that could be of benefit. Would that maybe be a DR?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. Give me a quick DR. Let's see how that goes.
Because I'm like, it would be cool to be able to like operate here while we have this connection to Derail and kind of do this like in two different places. But I don't know if I'm like well versed enough in that kind of thing. All right. Oh, that's bad. That's a miss.
I think you see nothing. I think you're looking around, you're flailing around, trying to figure something out, and basically Aubrey just finishes this spell, and there is like Aubrey's like mouth opens wide, and a gout of like fat, oily, flying insects begin just like pouring forth from Aubrey's mouth and fly toward you, push you. Well, they push you towards the door. That's going to happen, and you blink away. Okay, Aubrey, you are just there with this like, you're aware, you're conscious of these like fat, oily black insects like swarming out of your mouth, and they're circling back around to like go on your body to consume you. What do you do? And Twilight runs, yes, according to the good note on the chat there.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I got nothing. I guess I just I touched the door handle.
Okay. While you're trying to get to the door, and while that's all going on, you're also going to take some damage as well, as the bugs like kind of begin to chew on you. Smule doesn't know about the door, right? That teleports you away. He thinks you don't have a way of escaping this magic, right?
Twilight doesn't.
Yeah. Real quick, because I need some stats. Here we go. Because of course I don't have my books with me presently.
Just frantically scanning my moves, trying to find something that will help.
Oh yeah, can we use some of our shadow hold? Is that what that's? Shadows whisper secrets to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're lucky enough to have some.
You just get to like ask. Basically, they will have whispered some secrets to you, and we'll do out of character asking and answering questions. So.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like, out of character, don't touch the fucking door, too late.
Oh, that door. That's the door they were talking about. Here we go. From the bugs, you are going to take, a D10 plus 3 ignores armor.
Ooh.
Well, we can't hear you, Aaron.
Yeah, that was 12.
How many hit points do you have?
14.
You teleport. Both of you are in this, as described, this subterranean chamber, like with all these bones. Dero, you've got a second, because while the lich is like forming, it's basically forming this like massive bone like armor around it, right? Like it's titanic in size. Like it probably stands like, you know, like 20 or 30 feet tall, right?
Oh shit. Okay.
And he's in the center of it, right? It's vaguely humanoid shaped, this towering bone thing.
Right.
What do you do in the meantime?
I was gonna hold on to my shadow token so that I could like make the thing that we're here to get disappear, but I don't think I have time for that anymore. What can I do with shadow tokens?
You can use the shadow tokens to basically it's essentially like a chance to barter to get the shadows to like do some magic for you, right?
Yeah. I want them to fuck this guy up, or yeah, mess him up, because even if we left, it wouldn't matter. He could still target us, right? So
yeah. What specifically do you want them to
do? Maybe rewind time again. Or
I think that sounds like shadow magic. I think the shadows can do. The shadows can. I think the best thing, the main thing the shadows can do is all the shadows are connected, right? And you can kind of like travel between them. So that's a thing that you could do. You could teleport away. You could get them to create like a cloak of darkness, of magical darkness over the area. They aren't able to like physically hurt anything because they're just shadows, right?
Right.
Or they can't take a corporeal solid form.
Okay. Yeah. And Opry is connected to him though. So if I use the shadows to leave, then he would just be like, whatever, right?
Well, I think the reason why he's able to connect to Opry is because you were there, right?
Oh, okay. Okay, well, then maybe my plan is to like leap back where I know they're going to materialize, and then ask the shadows to like encapsulate us and take us back to the house, I guess.
I like it. I think the shadow token is good leverage for a parlay.
Okay.
Roll parlay.
That's probably charisma, is it?
It is.
Okay. Let's see.
So
The good thing is that I did increase it, so it's not my negative stat anymore, at least. So that's the thing. No, yeah, I got a 4. I think that's 8 misses in a row now.
So you are desperately trying to, what you're whispering to the shadows, you have the token out, you're like, please do this, please do this. What you discover, much to your horror, is that the shadows of this chamber have gone kind of mad because they have been just kind of stuck in this place for a long time, in this sort of malignant wake of this lich, right, who sleeps here. And not only are they not going to be helpful, but they snuff out all the fairy fire lanterns in the chamber. And so all three of you find yourselves on a pile of bones in pitch dark. You hear this like this massive bone construct moving around. Who knows if he can see in the dark or not? You better hope not. What do you guys do? I'm just going to go around the table. We'll start with Talia.
I think I would like, it goes totally dark around me. So there's bones rattling and kind of swirling around the chamber. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Well, that's settling down as they begin to form fully, right. This like titanic construct that's around his body.
Then I think we see Talia, her eyes closed despite the darkness, and she opens her mouth and begins to sing, not accompanied by her lute or anything this time. I think this is just like pure crystalline, resonant voice just singing out through the chamber. And I think this time I want it to be stirring speech. Okay. So it's, for me, like for Talia, she's not much of a speechifier. There could be some words of hope within the song. In fact, I think it's a song of the resonant heartstones. And I think this song is the melody that it's sung with is particularly resonant within this chamber or whatever, or maybe hopefully it is, depending on how I roll, but I would like it to inspire my allies and kind of be a light in the darkness a little bit.
Oh, nice. I like that. Yeah. I'm into that. Roll it up. Yeah, so it is.
All right. That is a 9. So I get to choose one from the list of options. The options are: your allies take +2 armor forward, your allies take +1 d4 damage forward, and your allies take +1 ongoing against fear until conflict ends. That last one feels relevant, but I don't know how, like...
I mean, if I'm willing to retranslate it to say that like what dispels their fear is that you actually create like a sort of magical light, right? Like that, that your song pierces the darkness in a way, right?
That would be very cool. I like that image a lot.
Yeah. Otherwise, the choice is yours. So.
Well, I mean, 2 armor sounds nice, but and bonus damage also sounds nice. But I feel like if I could do something a little more like fictionally impactful, I think that I would like to. And I think that what is this? So this is just a giant cavern, right? Like a big cave,
it's like
basically.
An underground cave, yeah. Or it's like it's unclear if it's like an actual like cave or in the world somewhere, or if it's like a pocket dimension or something. But it looks like a cave.
Okay. Well, maybe as I sing, and kind of the sound waves like bounce off and all around the cave and kind of amplify themselves. Maybe there's like little deposits of some kind of mineral or something around the cave, and they were just dark before, but whatever I'm singing is causing them to like resonate and glow and just give off a dim light, sort of.
Awesome. Well, now you can all see the horror that's standing before you, so that's great. But to adventurers, it's better than living in the dark, unless you're Canadian adventurers, in which case that's the worst thing possible. Opry, what are you doing in the meantime?
I think I'm just horrified by this, but I guess uplifted. Is there a successful roll there?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a pretty classic like fantasy moment, right? Like adventurers in the dark. There's something terrible that you're standing before, and now there's like some ray of light, some ray of hope that pierces the darkness, right? And we see you all, like the camera pans away to see you small, the three of you standing up against this titanic thing.
And now we can actually see how big the cavern is, right? Because we can see the borders of it, sort of.
A little bit, yeah. We could talk about that when you guys have a breathing,
Yeah.
a minute to breathe.
So I think I want to use one of my to hold with the shadows to see if they can tell me something about Smule, about a weakness of these bones, or something to that effect.
While you were, they whispered repeatedly to you. They whispered repeatedly to you, the king will fall when his crown is removed.
I relay that information to my brethren, and I don't have any more hold on my expanded consciousness. So I think we're looking to put ourselves in some position, guys, to take this crown off.
Well, with that in mind, Dira, what about you? What do you do?
My first thought, and it's a weird one, is is there a way to like weaponize this hope and shoot it at him?
Someone's been watching Magical Girl anime.
I don't know. I mean, the main thing you got to do here is just knock this crown off, right? So
yeah, I was going to use hope as a weapon to shoot at the crown,
as opposed to just arrows. Or
well, I was picturing I would put it on my arrow or something. Yeah.
I mean, if you had gotten some kind of +1 forward, I think that would have been a good fictional way of justifying such a thing.
Right.
But I think in the meantime, you're feeling
okay.
You have fullness. You have fullness and hope in your heart. So
I mean, technically, it takes +1 ongoing against fear, but yeah, I don't know. We're fighting against fear itself.
Maybe I'll use an adventuring gear to attach a rope to an arrow and then shoot it at the ceiling so that we can at least scale up to presumably the guy's head where the crown is.
Oh, okay, I like that. I mean, you might be able to like shoot it straight into the bone thing too, and like just scale it that way as well. I like that. Do a defy danger dexterity.
Okay.
Wait. I feel bad giving you 2 prophecies.
Okay.
No. Not yet. Go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna use different dice. So I'm gonna do blue dice. Yeah, 7 plus 1 is 8.
Look, I would have wasted it anyways.
Yeah.
I will tell you that like you're gonna like sink the arrow into the massive bones. It will be in there. I think basically what's going to happen is it's only going to be in there tight enough for one of you to go up at a time. Basically, if 2 of you try to scale it at a time, you're going straight down. So.
Gotcha.
But otherwise, you're good. All right. In that case, the thing is now lumbering towards you. It has a terrific reach on you. So just know that. The arrow is there. The rope is there. You would still have to like try to avoid its blows, I think, to get close enough to climb. But it is a possibility. Talia, do you want to be doing anything other than just like singing out your song right now, or what?
Well, I'm looking in my inventory, and I remember I marked down Book of Souls, and I don't remember exactly what. I think that was more of just the scope of like the house stuff. I don't know if I could get anything good from there, but maybe I could just use stories and legends.
To learn something about this guy.
Yeah, like we already do know that the crown is the weakness, but there could be something maybe more personally that like Opry could get into his head with or something. I don't know. Like maybe an old like line from a story about something he'd be like sensitive about, or something that some tragedy that befell him. You know,
I love that idea. So what's the move that you're trying to do here?
I'm trying to use stories and legends, declare that I've heard tell of someone or something important. Name the book, song, or story you've learned it from, and ask the GM any one question and roll plus int.
Okay. I mean, so maybe it's the bone crown. Maybe it's word of the bone crown that like triggers your memory here.
Sure.
Where did you read about this? I will tell you that his name is he's referred to colloquially as Old King Smule because he's one of the old kings of the ancient world. What would you want to know that you've heard? Or, well, first of all, what's the name of the story or legend, and then
yeah, I feel like the name of the story might have just been the Bone Crown of Old King Smule.
Fine, yeah, I love it.
It's a classic name of a tale.
Indeed.
And so I'm gonna roll plus intelligence, and I ask you any one question about it. Okay, so yeah, I've kind of declared generally what I would like, but what tragedy or sadness befell him in his past? How could we get through to him?
Yeah, that's good. We'll go ahead and roll it.
So that is an 8.
What happens on a 7 and
9? The GM will provide you with an answer. It is the 10 plus will be more elaborate, providing information immediately useful or relevant. So we get something, but not something juicy, maybe.
The main thing you know is that he was betrayed when he was alive.
All right.
If you can do something with that. Right. See, he's really sensitive to
it. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know if Opry has a mind link going on, or I guess we'd be close to each other, right? If we teleported in, or did we teleport into different places?
Yeah, you guys are all within a few paces of each other. So yeah, you could just say that. I mean, that's fine. Just say that to Opry. I'm gonna give you guys one more go at things, and then he's gonna start attacking. So, or he's gonna be close enough to swing and smash you guys. So, Opry, now what do you do?
All right, maybe some table talk for a second. Do we think that we have do we have a clear path to me messing with his mind, or do we have a clear path to me, say, trying to knock aside some of these bones so that Diriel can get a shot at the crown? What's our?
I thought the kinetic strike would be, especially if it has. Does that have forceful by chance?
Usually does.
If it's got forceful and messy, you can definitely use it to smash away some of these bones.
Yes, forceful and messy, near, and I just took my level 2, which is also piercing, subtle, and elemental.
Nice. Near is the tricky part. you gotta kind of maybe probably get past an initial attack, but yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe then you could bait him close or something by taunting him. Or,
yeah.
Go ahead, Fraser.
My plan was to use the rope. I imagine there's a chasm or something like that beside us, and I was gonna leap off of that into the darkness and use it as a slingshot to hop up onto him and start scaling him and shit.
You might be, yeah. There might be a shelf wall or something that you can clamber up to. I think that's fine. That sounds really dangerous.
Yeah, I got to get up there somehow.
I mean, I kind of like this idea of maybe using that information, maybe Opry or one of you guys can use that information to basically distract him a little bit, so he halts his initial attack. Possibly,
yeah.
Just what would you say, Opry?
Yeah, I think I'm calling for a distraction, and I think I'm calling for us to spread out around him, right? To sort of negotiate this treachery, this sort of feeling of being stabbed in the back. And so to have somebody at all times behind his back.
Okay, nice. All right.
So maybe Diriel is roping him in or something to that effect, and Talia and I perhaps go to the sides, and I'm just shouting knock the crown, knock the crown, knock the crown, knock the crown.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe it's not even me. It's the shadows speaking through me. The crown will fall. The crown will fall.
I like that. Give me a Defy Danger with Charisma to see if he kind of goes for this ploy, this sort of psychological mind game you guys are playing with him.
Oh, that's a 12 plus
nice
1, 13.
Nice. I love it. Yeah, I mean, he's totally exposed. I mean, I think he's basically he's stopped, and he sees you all kind of running, kind of getting in a weird position. These words are being repeated. You can't hear him, but he's muttering under his breath, they have come to finish the job. The traitors have come to finish me after all this time, that kind of thing, right? And he's And there's just a moment. Dero, what do you do?
No chasm then. I want to use the rope as leverage to get up there to try to, knock off the thing. Or would it be wiser to try to shoot another arrow with rope on it at the ground?
I think your arrows about halfway up. It's up the construct. You can use that to give you a good boost up to get close to where he's at in the center of it. Sure. The fact that he's distracted right now means you won't have to avoid one of his blows. So if you just quickly run up there and start dashing up the rope, you should be good. But just give me a con roll.
Okay. Blue dice, don't let me down. 7.
Okay. You get.
Oh wait. Just a sec. Let me double check that. No, it's a 6.
Okay, I want to help.
Any chance you can aid here, Talia?
Yeah, I was already thinking about using my move Lullaby. When you sing or play a gentle song, roll plus charisma. On a 7+, every creature you choose that can hear you becomes lethargic and inattentive until the song ends. So maybe either I could make that move and that could give him a +1 forward because it's lethargic, or this could just be help.
Yeah, I think we'll just do it as aid. A charisma aid is good. I think just continuing your song. I mean, I think it's maybe just more distraction, possibly, right?
Yeah. I think the song though moves into a more I think I start crossing this song over with the song of the Chimes of Misery, and it's kind of like this sorrowful tune that's kind of like just psychologically dragging him down, basically. And that is a miss.
Quite suddenly, and to your chagrin, Derail, Smule, this construct moves fast. He snaps out of it and just quickly swings down like a massive bone, vaguely fist-shaped bone thing, swings down like a terrifying pendulum and just crashes against you and sends you flying for a D10 +3. Armor counts, but
this is where I roll big, of course. D10 +3.
And then Talia, he swings with the other fist and smashes down on you for the same.
5. So I rolled a 2, so that's 5, and I have 1 armor, so it becomes 4. So
and you go flying as well, you're kind of across the chamber. Talia, you don't go flying.
I also rolled a 2.
He just smashes down on top of you, just right. Echoing out in the chamber, echoing out, drowning out the shadows, drowning out. Well, the song is definitely drowned out. Just the single word, treachery. Opry, what do you do?
I'm taking this moment where he's striking out with, I'm coming up behind him, and I'm gonna try to get near, and I'm gonna try to telekinetic strike that sucker off his head.
All right.
Now it's prophecy time.
I love it.
Yeah, do it. Are you gonna prophecy this?
I am indeed. I think
I have 2 hit points, so this is a good. This is good.
Yeah. I think that I think it's something about the dark minds of the shadows or something like that. You're tapping into a dark force that you shouldn't be, and this is it's almost like you're being overly ambitious or something. That's the prophecy, is those who use that to their advantage. Yeah.
Or even just the mere idea of opening your mind up in this space, right? This tainted space. What'd you get?
I got a 12, suckers.
How much damage is it? Well, don't worry about. I mean, damage is important-ish. You can go ahead and roll the damage if you want. Let's see what that is. The forceful, messy part is the forceful part's the important part.
Yeah, that is a 3 damage.
Nice. Describe just what it looks like. The crown will fall off. I'll give you that.
I think I'm running up a spiral of bones to sort of get close. And as soon as he sort of swings down, his head sort of cocks, and I just sort of like imagine myself lifting the crown off and throwing it.
Nice. As soon as the crown is removed, this bone construct comes crashing down. Now it really sounds like a loud cacophonous rain stick. The shower of bones just like crashes down on top of him too, because he was in it, right? So it just kind of all comes crashing down. After a moment or two, this sort of like as you're coughing up, bone dust, right? Vile, extra desiccated and dry. It really just seizes up your throat, right? You're coughing it up. The area is still. And you have a minute, maybe not long, because you don't know where he's at. He's just piled under the bones somewhere, to take stock of things. Catch your breath as best you're able. Derail. You're lifting yourself up from off the floor. What do you
do? Maybe somebody else should look for the way out. But I think I'll say thank you for coming. You didn't have to do that. I surely would have been dead if you did not come. And yeah, I didn't want to level up between these because it didn't make sense. But so everybody knows, I have 14. So I have 5 XP over leveling, and I leveled up last session as well.
Wow.
Well.
Yeah. So yeah, but I'm going to I think collect Talia and help her up because she took a big hit there, and that was partly my fault.
I think I'd say something like if we did not deal with him now, he'd come back to haunt us in another timeline, I'm sure. It's best that we do this now.
Perhaps.
So what are you guys going to do?
I'm going to let them look for the way out. I'm very superstitious now.
Well, I mean, is looking for the way out wisdom? Because you're the wise one.
Well, you have a tracking skill too, which could be helpful in such a situation.
You guys asked for it.
I mean, before you like anything else you guys want to do in this chamber before you try to find an exit. I mean, I think that's kind of a major question here.
We could search his sarcophagus too. Maybe he was buried with some ceremonial cool shit. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think Opry is scanning the pile, looking for him, I guess.
Yeah, that's
looking
fair.
for me.
No, I think
for Small.
Oh.
If there's something that could buy us time, like I could use Lullaby to kind of keep him down for a little longer if I can. That is a move that I have if we do want to go check the sarcophagus. But if it's just a matter of checking and looking for the escape, I think we just go for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty into leaving.
Yeah, ditto.
Yeah, Jason's trying to trap us. I'm not feeling this.
Yeah, right.
Let's take 10 minutes and come back, okay?
Cool. Fraser, I just saw that our game of the watch has Hamish and Dana in it. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, I like playing with them a lot. Hamish is very like 110%.
Nice.
Like whenever he's playing Dungeon World at a con, you can hear him like screaming and shouting from like across the way and stuff. It's pretty funny. I think he's gone anyway. And Matt, were you saying that you wanted to get a copy of the Veil at the first book or the second book?
Probably both.
Okay, well the second book won't be there because I don't want to bring copies of that before the backers get it, and it looks like the backers will probably get it after that, but the second printing will be there.
Awesome. Then yeah, I'll definitely pick up the first book and look out for the second one. I saw the first was at 401 for a while, and then they sold out of it. So if it comes back sometime, then I'll pick it up. Otherwise, I might just order it if I'm going to play it soon. But
the benefit of picking it up at Breakout will be that it's the second printing and not the first, right?
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I was meaning the second one. Like whenever that eventually shows up, I'll pick it up there, unless I need it before. Then I'll order it.
Oh well, it'll almost certainly be cheaper at Breakout than at 401, I think.
But... Right. I guess I mean like, so you're gonna have the Veil, but you won't have Cascade there, right? Yeah. So I just meant Cascade. Like if Cascade, if I want to play with that, then I would pick it up later on at 401. But yeah, I'll definitely grab that from you.
Cool. Yeah. I was hoping that people would get it beforehand, but it looks like probably not. So then we were like, because I'm just having one box of the Veil shipped like priority to Breakout now, so it'll get there in time, hopefully. But I didn't want to do that with Cascade because then people could be buying it at the con before backers even got it, and that seemed bad.
Yeah, that's an integral decision, I think. And I my internet just dropped, but I also just realized that our Apocalypse World game has Yoshi and that Ramanan guy.
Yeah,
that's cool. I hadn't looked at all this stuff.
Yeah, I missed him last time, so I was happy to get into a game with him because we were looking for each other last time, but I guess we just didn't see each other, even though the room was like not big at all.
Right.
So it seemed impossible, but yeah. Because Sunday I basically just holed up and started drinking coffee with a bunch of other designers, and that's all we did. Is I played one game, then we all just sat and drank coffee and visited right out in the open, so that when you're going down the hallway to go to the con, then you would like see us. So
right,
yeah, I guess he just. I think he only went one day though, and played a couple games, and then didn't go the other 2 days or 1 day or whatever it is.
That's what I did. I was mostly, or not last year, but the year before, I was mostly just into board games. So I went for that. And then I just got into one random game of Apocalypse World. And that was like my first con game ever. But this time I'm in like 6 games. So it'll be a lot of different of an experience.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, Aaron's here, he says.
Oh, okay.
He's just eating.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Wave.
So who's looking for the way out? Or who's responsible for the role, I guess? And then you can
Aaron.
take 8 if you need it.
Aaron's doing it.
Diriel, I have faith in you.
Sorry.
I'm willing to look past your past discretions and I think you're good.
My past discretions. Hey, it's the fiction, not me. I'm just cursed.
They're not failings, they're opportunities.
To fail, yeah. Okay, well, I do have the most wisdom, but I liked your idea in chat of peering through the veil to see, like, especially since we came here by magical means, it would make sense that you'd be the one to perceive another out.
Are we in another dimension or something, right?
Yeah. I don't think, like, I can find clues as to a way out, but the way out might just be like, you get out of the cave, not, where we need to go back to.
Right. Cool. Go ahead and roll TR.
Certain realities is wisdom, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's very good. 7.
Okay, cool. You get 1 question.
1 question. I guess, what should I be on the lookout for?
You get the distinct sense that this is a legit cave in the world. You're not in some other plane of existence. And caves have entrances, right? Well, it better. Some of these bones got down here somehow. So yeah, a more terrestrial search should produce something.
There's no port.
So you get the distinct impression though. That like you're in the real world. So.
We're in the real.
I would ask you, Aubrey, what does that? How do you perceive it? How do you know you're not like in some isolated dimension? Like, how do you know that you're in the world?
I think that sound resonates differently. So it's like we're in this cave, and I imagine like a lot of echoing, right? We've just experienced this cacophonous, movement of bones, and maybe there's something that just seems more solid about that sound when you are in a tangible place than when you are in some kind of mind cave.
Yeah, I like it.
Maybe even when the rattling happens, we see like a bunch of bats or something like that detach and fly out or something too. That would be cool.
Right. Yeah. You actually see like evidence of like being in the real world. Yeah, I like that. Mm. Maybe even see like insects, right? And they got to be eating something, right? They got to be coming from somewhere. So, right. Okay. Well, in that case, then, do you, if you want one of your companions to follow up on that, they can have your +1, Aubrey.
Yeah, I think I'd just telling Diriel, find us a way out. This is on you now.
Oh, great. That's good. Yeah, that's a thing you should say. Okay. Well, yeah, I think then I use all of these tells from the nature in the cave to discern like a way out, hopefully. I follow the trail of clues left behind by passing creatures, perhaps.
I love it. That's good. Roll. Do you have a specific tracking move, right?
Yeah, it's a wisdom.
Awesome. Go ahead and roll that.
Okay. I'm just gonna clear all the dice here. I need it to be fresh. Oh, sweet. Okay, so that's if I have appraise +1, then that is a 15.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, so what happens? Let's read your move. On a 10 plus, okay, so you're going to be able to follow the creature's trail until there's a significant change. You also choose one, gain a useful bit of information about your quarry. The GM will tell you what. Okay.
Can I also hit when you try to do something in a clandestine manner, choose something equal to your dex, and I will say, can we do it by staying out of sight is one of the options.
Oh, I'm into that. Yeah, I think that's great. So I'm going to kind of like, I'm going to kind of advance the fiction a little bit so this all makes sense. You basically follow insects, bat droppings. Basically, you have to kind of like climb up some cave wall a bit up to from the ground. It doesn't look like anything really, but like if you get up there, you find there's actually like a bit of shelf wall, and there's actually like a little like kind of opening, right? Little gap in the wall. It's not too high up, just like maybe not even 10 feet, right? It's not too high. But if you wedge your way in there, it actually leads to the bottom of a landing of stairs. And these stairs, they spiral upwards, right? You can follow them. You can take the stairs. They go up pretty high. You must have been pretty deep. That's what's going on. I see a message in the text from Matthew. Are we just leaving that crown? I don't know. Talia, are you just leaving that crown?
I thought it was huge, isn't it?
No, it's just a crown.
Oh, I was picturing it as like a crown on top of the Power Ranger armor.
Oh no, it's no, it's sorry, my partner grind his coffee. It's a crown that was on the Lich's head. Yeah.
I think at one point I was looking around and searching for Smule.
Oh right, yeah. You can find the crown if you want.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'll take a crown.
Sounds good. And the stairs go up quite a ways. I mean, it must be at least it's at least a couple hundred feet, maybe more. And the stairs lead up to a little alcove. You can see that there are the alcove doesn't appear to have any doors or anything, but you can see little gaps in the wall that let you realize that this wall is kind of a false wall. It's almost like a sheet of thin slate or like wood, right? Like it's not very thick. It's meant to look like mason stone. You can kind of chip away at that and bust that open and kind of move it to the side, and you find yourselves in crypts, like in underground crypts or catacombs. There are large columns. Large columns with a couple of torches on them that kind of illuminate a little bit the space. And basically it's a sort of grid network of basically like stone stone like slotted like crypts, like or resting places, right? There are like bodies like slotted into these like stone structures that are spaced out in a sort of grid pattern. It looks a lot like in Elder Scrolls, right? Like when you go to the to a crypts area in Elder Scrolls. And you are able to stay unnoticed, right, as part of your move, correct, Dero?
Yeah, I selected like you, when you want to perform anything else in a clandestine manner, then you can choose options up to your decks, and then there's like a bunch of them, and then one of them is that you remain silent, how you stay out of sight, that kind of thing. So
okay, I might give you the benefit of that right now, because you, as you kind of like as you leave that little alcove where the stairs were, and you make your way in deeper into these crypts a little bit, you hear a voice. You hear a voice sort of echoing around in the catacombs. And the voice says, "My lord, are you already awakened? I certainly didn't expect you to be up and about so soon. Our plans are not nearly in place." What do you do?
Can anyone do a good mule impression?
Can I? Oh, sorry, go.
Oh yeah, you could maybe telepathically speak Smuley.
I believe it's pronounced Smulese. And can I use the Heart's Sorrow? Smulish. Okay, that was better. Touche. When you look into someone's heart in search of a secret, but maybe not in search of a secret. No. Maybe I do want the secret. I want to know what's going on here.
So you're kind of like, yeah. You're kind of like trying to focus in on where that voice is coming from. I like that. Yeah. You guys can stay hidden for the meantime because of the advantage you have from Dero. But go ahead and roll this.
There's a 5 plus wisdom 2, 7.
Okay. On a 7-9, choose one.
I want to get the hell out of here. The secret can easily be used to gain leverage for parlay.
This creature believes that there are some kind of forces or reinforcements or servants of Old King Smule they're expecting them to arrive at some point in the future to wherever you're at right now. And you may be able to convince this creature that you are these servants sent in to aid this cause, right?
As it is written, so it shall be. Yeah, so I think I'm trying to make that case. And what am I trying to get out of here? Are we still trying to find an exit, or now we?
You don't know. You don't really know, right? I mean,
no.
This is a crypt. It's probably beneath some kind of human settlement because they look like human bodies, right, or humanoid bodies, right? And you don't know who this voice belongs to. Just what do you say? Like, do you call out? What do you say?
We are. We are the stewards. We are the stewards of Smule. We have come to check on his well-being, and he is not yet ready for his return. He is still too weak. I give like a nudge to my buddies. Lead us back to. Let us pass. I think I'm just gonna say let us pass.
Perhaps what you are saying is the truth. Perhaps what you are saying is a lie. I have ways of determining such things. Step out of the darkness, friend, and let me take a look at you.
No.
Well, maybe you could can you make him see?
You still get the advantage.
Else?
You still get to do your parlay, but he wants to see you first.
Hopefully there's no specific garb these people have. Where's your Simul garb, bro?
What if it's like do we think it's a bad idea for more than one of us to speak out? Or we said we're the stewards, right? So
right, yeah. He may only know about one of you. You may or may not want to reveal yourself yet.
Well, yeah, okay. Then maybe. Well, whatever. I think Tally would say Smule operate in darkness and are not meant to be seen by any other than his boniness.
You read the book and that's what you come up with?
I think at this point, you've probably given up the benefit of not being seen now that several of you have spoken to the creature. I think like spinning around the corner, well, out of character, we know it to be a beholder. Spins into frame from a hallway or from a little, from one of the cross corridors. Large, round, spherical body, about 10 feet in diameter. A sort of like hard purplish chitin around it. A big central eye and an array of eye stalks atop his head. And he says, "Servants of King Smule, tell me, did you find our Lord to be in a satisfactory condition?"
He is corporeal. He is not yet fleshed out, shall we say.
I think you may roll the parlay now, if you wish. You've got this ruse going on.
Oh, fuck. That's a 4 plus charisma. That's a 5.
And he's looking at you, and his big mouth, like it's just a big row of teeth, like stretches into a smile, like just a toothy smile. And he says, "Grave robbers overstepping their bounds stumbled into something that they can't possibly understand. I fear this is the end of your career, friends. Who wants to fall first?"
I point to Diriel.
One of the eye stalks kind of arches up over his head, kind of waving, and somebody roll a d6 for me.
Fraser, go.
Okay, yeah, I roll a small 3.
Okay, that's going to be Derail.
Nice.
The eye stalk, you hear a noise. It's like a, and then just a beam, of energy flies out of the eye stalk. What do you do, Derail?
I want to dodge to the side and hopefully not get hit.
Roll plus dexterity, please.
That's a 6.
Maybe we have help here.
Is there an? Yeah, I mean, if you can justify it, Talia, what do you do?
Oh boy.
I was the one technically in the shadows, not being able to be detected too.
Funny thing about that, beholders have a wide cone of anti-magic, so they are able to I mean, you didn't have magic. I guess you weren't magically hiding necessarily, but any ambient protection you get from the Shadow Court magic was definitely not there.
I don't have a good thing here. It's basically
the beam hits you, Derail, and Derail is instantly petrified, like literally turned to stone. One down, pass it around. Another eye stalk whips over in your direction, Talia. And a beam fires off. What do you do?
Oh boy. I have some cultural relics on me, but I don't know how helpful those would be in this situation.
I think you can dodge this laser beam.
I think I do too. Well, I think yeah, my dexterity's all right. I think I'm just gonna try and dodge it.
Roll plus dex.
Yeah. All right, I rolled an 8.
Good. I think you dodge out of the way, but like not really to safety. You just kind of just put like basically a fairly narrow column between you and it, right? But you do dodge out of the way, and you do dodge out of the way, and I think in the doing, you also, I think your cloak like snags on a bit of jagged rock on the column, and so you're going to wrench yourself free from that if you intend to keep dodging out of the way. Another eye stalk aims at you, Aubrey. It's whirling up, but maybe you've had a moment to react while that was going on. Aubrey, what would you do?
Do I sense that my psionic powers are not working here?
What a good question. They are working, because I don't consider psionics to be magic. So.
Hell yeah. Okay. Then I think I'm trying to do some Derail type shit. I'm gonna like slide underneath this floating head, and I'm gonna use like a telekinetic force thing to like lop off one of these eye stalks that are shooting at us.
Nice. Okay, that's good. So just, okay, like a rolling telekinetic strike. I'm into it. Go for it.
Yeah.
You can just roll telekinetic strike.
There's a 7.
What happens on a 7 to 9?
7 to 9, telekinetic strike. Deal damage, but choose one. Expose yourself or an ally to danger. Something near your target is destroyed by the blast. The GM will tell you what.
No, that's easy. You choose that one. It's a really simple answer.
Yeah. No, don't take the crown away. Or you're overwhelmed with psychic feedback. Yeah. Let's go ahead and destroy something.
Yeah, I think like you just send out this telekinetic blast that it will hit the beholder. You can roll your damage. You can knock off an eye stalk. That's cool. I'm gonna roll a d10 to see which one it was, or just someone roll a d10 for me.
Okay, that is a 2.
Okay, and then also your blast like destroys that column. So you're definitely exposed now, Talia. So, but do you want to describe all that? Do you anything you want to add to it, or?
No, I like that. Painted a good word picture.
Indeed. Talia, what do you do?
I think I'd like to, like, I look over at Derail and just see him like just frozen in motion or whatever, and I don't think you see Talia cry, but you see obviously like a look of sadness as she kind of like looks down, and I think she like, you know, the pillars like blasted out from behind her, and she ducks down behind whatever like splintered remains are left, and I think she just takes her lute out and closes her eyes and starts playing the Chimes of Misery. I think it's the same song that we heard in the other chamber, but this is a much more sort of wistful, melodramatic kind of rendition, and I'm trying to use lullaby.
you are going to be, unless you get away, unless you get like a good distance between yourself and the beholder, his anti-magic ray will prevent you from doing this, right? Like your song will do nothing. It'll just be a song.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was magic, or I guess it's sort of magic. It does say when you sing or play a gentle song, roll plus charisma, but I guess there's magic in it, right?
There's got to be magic in it. It wouldn't have those effects if it wasn't like inherently sort of magical.
It's just a really good lullaby.
Okay. If you wish to run away a little bit, I'm cool with that, and then I'll give you a roll on that first.
Yeah, I think I'd like to do that.
Give me a dexterity roll.
Cool. That is a 6. Want to help, Aubrey? Can you think of anything?
I mean, I can try to knock him out of the way. Maybe I pull an eye stalk while I'm like sliding under. I hit him with one, take another eye, and
take him away. Yeah, like that. Do a defy danger. I don't know, strength. Aid with strength, rather.
The side blast is forceful and messy, so maybe it moved him too.
Yeah. Oh, that's true too. Yeah, we could. Yeah, I mean, I'll take that as like an ongoing occurrence of the last move too. If you want to just roll plus wisdom again.
And can I also? Is this a creature whose mind I can read if I chose to?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You did the heart sorrow on him, right? I mean,
could do that again. I was thinking more my human ability is that when I defy danger against a foe whose mind I can read, I take +1 forward.
Yeah, this is an aid though. So.
Okay. All right. And what am I rolling here? Is this Telekinetic Strike, or
this? It's just going to be a wisdom aid roll because I'm just having like your last move basically like be help for.
Got it.
For in this situation.
That's an 11.
Okay, good. All right, so that bumps you up to a 7, Talia. I think you are going to be able to run and get to a safe distance, but you hear behind you as you're running down a corridor, you hear a and you hear the beam firing off. You maybe even quickly glance over your shoulder and see the beam coming at you. You're going to get your distance, but not before you have to dodge this thing.
Okay. I wonder if trying to think of an interesting way to use kind of a plan here, but I think really this is just like Talia's never been faced with something like this before, and normally she's very elegant and graceful, but I think we see in this like a bit of franticness to everything, and I think it's just she's just relying on her pure instincts to save her. So I'll make another dexterity roll. There we go. That's a 12.
Nice. You dodge out of the way. The beam just kind of flies past you. You can now kind of like hide in the darkness and play your song in an attempt to try to get the advantage of that. But in the meantime, while the song's getting spun up, Aubrey, what do you do?
I am trying to find a way to free Diriel. So I think I want to do two things. I want to try to pierce the heart's. I want to do the heart's sorrow to try to search for the secret from this head about which
from the beholder.
Yeah, about how to release Diriel, and then I want to do that thing.
Roll, yeah, same pace.
That's a 7 + 2. That's a 9. I don't know how this would work, but this seems interesting to me. The secret is something you could possibly know otherwise, however unlikely that might be.
I think that's only advantageous if you're trying to like if you're trying to like pretend like you know something, for some other reason, right? I don't think that doesn't really seem applicable here.
All right, then maybe just secret is presented with greater context.
Sure. Beholders are kind of a one-way thing. They they do their magic and that's kind of it. They do their beam. There is no reversing beam. There is no There is nothing the beholder can do. You can try to find some other like ritual magic way to release Dero from this, but not at this moment.
Okay.
So the answer is there's nothing you can do until you cope with this situation.
Got it. All right, then I'm just going to stab another eye.
Go for it. Yeah. Hack and slash, I guess.
That's a 7 plus. That's hack and slash. That's
strength.
Strength. That's a 7.
Awesome. I will give you. I'll let you hack an eye stalk off or hurt the beholder. Your choice. I think that's the right thing to do here. It's more defy danger strength, really, rather than hack and slash.
Yeah. Any suggestion, Talia?
You might hear like the magic or like my, this song kind of emerging from down the hallway, and you might know that. I mean, it would be nice to kill this thing, but if I can manage to put it to sleep, it would be better to just deal with the ice stalks so none of us are petrified for now. But maybe we want to make a start. It's kind of up to you.
You can go for an ice stalk. That's what you were kind of describing in a way, but I figure give you the option for to start it. I think if you got a 10 plus, I'll let you do both. So, let me roll a d10 for me.
1.
Okay, awesome. And fantastic. And so now maybe we have a little sequence where like the beholder's kind of tangling with Aubrey, who's doing her best to dodge beams, and all that stuff is going on, and you're in the darkness beginning this song. You've got a moment to get the song going. Roll it up, I guess. What's the song that you sing?
I think it's because Talia's name, her Shadow Court alias is Chime. I think this song has a particular meaning for her, the Chimes of Misery, and it's a very sorrowful song, but I think something in it she finds hope in, but to most other people it just sounds like this very sad, very wistful longing, just a song of loss sort of. And I think thinking a little bit later, I think that when I was actually moving backwards into the darkness, I think we saw Talia kind of like move behind a pillar, and then like the beam shoots where she would emerge from the other side, but then we see her like walking out from behind a different one, like almost like Scooby-Doo style. But that was just how she kind of deceived it. And now it doesn't really know which pillar she's behind, and this song just kind of like echoes through the darkness.
Yeah, that's good. What was the roll?
All right, I'll roll it up. That's a 5. That's a 5.
Boy, this is going so poorly for you all. I think at a certain point, you lose track of precisely where the beholder is. Maybe it's actually like abandoned. It's disengaged with you, Aubrey, in order to search for Talia. And we have a moment where Aubrey, you're just there, pressed up against a stone pillar, Derail's petrified body in the corner of your vision, catching your breath. The beholder is skulking around these halls, floating around, trying to locate the source of the music. And Talia, you are also keeping, playing your song, trying your best to keep an eye out for the beholder while still continuing your song, hoping that it's having some kind of effect on it, right? You turn a corner, Talia, and you don't even have much time to think about it. You just turn a corner and you see the beholder right there. The thing floats very silently. It's just there staring at you. Its toothy smile stretched wide, right? And we just hear roll a d10.
It's a 1.
Ah. I'm trying to think how I want this to play out. Give me a moment.
Sound of that laugh.
So, I think what's going on here is that you are facing down this beholder. One of its eye stalk powers is revving up, right? You rolled a 1, which is the result for a missing eye stalk. It's one of the ones that was cut off previously. And I'm giving you because that was the result that came up. I'm going to make the good eye stalk that's shooting off is not going to get off quite as quickly. It won't be an instant hit, but you're facing it down. I'll give you a chance to dodge it. You can roll dexterity if you wish, or describe how else you otherwise try to get away.
Are you frozen?
Oh, no, I'm thinking hard.
A different kind of frozen.
Oh boy. I think that like I turn the corner, I'm faced with this beholder just staring me. It's one eye just like locking with my eyes, and you just hear me go, oh. And I think I'm holding my stringed instrument in my hand, and I think I'd like to kind of like this song is sort of like it's been this very like enchanting, sorrowful song the whole time, but I think I'd like to just play this like jarring dissonant chord in the middle of it to kind of like almost like I know the magic effect might not even happen here, but it just takes you so far out of what I was performing before that it's like physically jarring a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. I'm into it. I mean, maybe there's a moment where the anti-magic ray is not like, not where you're just inside of it or whatever, right? Or just outside of it.
And it could be cool if this is just
the closer you are, the better the chance you are not in the anti-magic ray, because it's actually like it's a cone, right? So if you're like pretty close, you avoid it.
All right, and
so basically just defy danger with whatever you play with, charisma, I guess.
Okay. That's a 10.
Nice. That's enough to send it reeling back. Like you send out this like dissonant note that it's almost like a wallop on the beholder, right? He kind of like reels back, floats back a little bit, and kind of shifts its body around as if a head trying to shake it off, right? Aubrey, I'll give you a moment to act here.
Okay. Play in this space with me for a second. So I have telekinetic powers. I have a telekinetic connection to Diriel. Diriel's a fighter and I am not. Can we do some body swapping here? Can I like touch his petrified body and have him sort of like possess my body, or like have it like a feedback loop so he can
like Diriel's in your mind basically?
Yeah.
I'm into this. I think this is a cool idea. I'm totally into this.
Because
we don't know if Diriel is conscious or not as a statue. I like the idea of them being conscious because that makes it more horrifying, right? If you're a statue forever, you know it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so then what? In that case, I mean, maybe this is like Diriel making a move in a way.
Yeah.
What would that be, Diriel?
Maybe it's surprise and I shoot it. Well, but Aubrey doesn't have my bow, and my bow is stone right now. Are my things stone or just
Yes.
me?
Yeah. So you need something else.
Okay.
What do you have, Aubrey, on your person?
Yeah.
I have a dagger.
Okay, maybe I like try to like throw the dagger at it as it might be surprised because I'm coming from behind it.
I have a dagger. I have adventuring gear. I have ornate clothing, so you can throw my cloak of some sort over this thing.
I think you guys need something more dramatic than just like I rolled a hit. I think you guys need like something more dispositive here, like that's going to give you an advantage in this fight.
I was thinking
Mind Flayer's Veil.
Oh, the Veil of the Mind Flayer. That could be kind of cool. There might be some interesting fiction there to happen. Any ideas of how this Mind Flayer's Veil might be helpful here? I'm open to interpretations.
What was the Mind Flayer able to do again? I can't remember this character.
No, they're just powerful sidekicks. Like powerful. They're like you, but like far more powerful.
Hey.
Oh, maybe. Oh, I like the fiction of maybe throwing the veil over the eye stalk so that when it shoots it, it like hits it instead, because it's like shooting the veil and then the veil bounces it back at it or something to make it stone when it's trying to make Talia stone. Does that make sense?
That's an interesting idea. I mean, I think if what you want to do is like if what you're trying to do is like possibly like try to reflect one of its eye beams, if one of you guys had like an adventuring gear with a mirror or something, that could be cool, right?
Yeah,
I've got adventuring gear.
We know that it's like a black veil, and maybe it's like particularly like magically dark or something like that, like totally blackout. Like I'm trying to think of like what she would use this for, right? To conceal herself from other things. Like it's
all right. How about this? So let's do like a called shot from Duriel, where he throws this veil over the beholder, creating a psychic connection between Aubrey / Duriel and the beholder, and to try to take over the mind of this beholder.
Okay, so this feels like a bit of a stretch. I'm loving the fiction, I'm loving the creativity, but it does feel like a bit of a stretch. It may have just been a veil of that with some Mind Flayer essence on it. I think we described it as with Mind Flayer guts, head guts on it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think it's cool symbolically to just blind it, just to like have it be more difficult for it to see. Like it seems like it's the black veil, and this thing is an eye creature. Like it seems like there's just some symbolic blind out there.
There's some irony there, right?
How about this? We've also got the bone crown. Why don't we snap the bone crown, or like toss the bone crown where the beholder can see it and has to like
address it.
I'm assuming this guy wants the bone crown. Then toss the dagger to split the bone crown, and then we just freaking bolt. I guess we can't because you're still petrified. Damn it.
Well, it wouldn't matter. You could still leave my body, right?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, we could epilogue with Derail just as a stone statue down in the crypts, right?
Yeah. Like, you're not going to be able to bring me back. Right?
You guys might just be like, Derail's fucked. We're out of here.
Come back for him. If this thing's a phylactery or something, I don't know if it is, but like breaking it could cause some serious like distress to this friend of Old King Smule. Like it would at least be a good distraction.
Yeah. So smashing the bone crown, I think that's an interesting idea. I think is it possible that maybe you like know something more about it? Like maybe trigger a spout lore here to see if you know what the connection with what the bone crown has to do with all of it.
Is that
or you can just smash it without this knowledge? I'll leave it up to you.
Is that a roll for who?
If you want to get away, then yeah. But I was like, I think that it makes sense that I would be good at throwing the mirror to make the beam that it's going to shoot come back at it, and then you'd actually defeat it, right? As opposed to like you guys being like, and now we could leave.
Yeah, I think we have to kill this thing. I don't like. Opry doesn't run away. She's in it now.
So try to get it to fire a beam at you. Reflect the beam back at the beholder.
I think that's what we're going at right now.
I like that. I don't think that's even a particular talent of Derail. This is just like you doing, or one of you doing this, right? All right. Well, so let's kind of bring it back to the fiction. Let's get a clean start on the fiction here. So, Opry, what do you do?
I will give this move to Derail because I want to, whether Opry can do it or not, I think she doesn't think of herself as a fighter in this regard and knows that Derail is our most,
he's more dexterous or whatever.
More dexterous, but also more accident prone, I guess. Anyway. But I do think that there's, if we can allow this to happen, I'll do some type of like temporary mind sharing to let him sort of possess my body.
I'm into this. Well, so Derail, what's the plan then?
Yeah, I think it would be a called shot, but using the mirror, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. Like, basically, you're gonna try to like get the beholder to fire the beam, and it will fire the beams. Like it seems like it takes a second for him to like kind of spin them up, but once he does, you then are going to throw the mirror at the beam and try to like reflect it back.
I was thinking of just like using Opry to run along the wall or something like that and skid in front of Talia with the mirror.
Oh, got it. Oh, right. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think it's just a dexterity roll, right? So,
okay.
Yeah. Sure. Defy danger dex. I like that though. I think that's really good.
Okay, because yeah, you had just said that it was like about to fire at Talia too, right?
Yeah. I mean, and once it kind of like clears its head, it will take another shot, right? So.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna roll.
If you have any preparation, you might want to spend that.
No, I spent all that a long time ago. Yeah, I rolled a 4.
All right.
This is why you don't give things to Derail.
This is like
why
so
we should have
tragic.
nice things.
You are rolling. You've got the mirror up. You're trying to like deflect the mirror, and it just doesn't work. I mean, I think basically all you do is just like roll in front of the beam. The mirror has nothing to do with it. I think you just roll in front of the beam. We hear the little and then pop. And I'm just gonna choose. Yeah. So, Opry, you're going to the Black Gate.
And I'm chilling there with you. High five.
Ooh. Talia, you see your friend fall. You assume they're dead. At the very least, they're knocked out. You don't know what's going on. What do you do?
So I'm still kind of moving about these pillars in this mausoleum with kind of bodies all around me, just like in the shadows, trying to stay away from this thing while it's stalking me. That sounds about right.
Are you going to just try to escape?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, like most of a lot of what Talia can do is still a talent of hers, but it's backed by some magic within her songs, right? And like otherwise she's okay with a sword, but I think like she might I feel like we see Talia in the shot here like looking almost comfortable in this place surrounded by the dead, sort of. Mm-hmm. Like there's part of me that wants to like use magical music to try to like revive the corpses around in this mausoleum or something, but I don't think I could do that.
You just need to run. I feel like running is like the only solution right now.
I think so too. So I think I take, maybe I'll use one of the cultural relics that I have, and it's kind of this like a noisemaker or something like that. Like something that you could like wind up and then like would like I would like toss it over in another direction, and it would start like making some kind of noise. Yeah, like a rattling sound, and use that as kind of an opportunity to just like through the darkness, just like stalk towards the exit as quick as I can.
Defy danger with intelligence for quick thinking.
Okay. That's a 6.
That little rattling noise is going off. You are desperately running around this catacomb trying to find the exit, and you smell the sort of like dusty, dead smell of these crypts gives way to a sweeter smell, the smell of fatty fried foods, the smell of shit, the smell of sweeter is a relative thing here. The smell of people, the smell of rain. There's a way out. There's a way out. You see a set of steps, a short flight of steps that go up. There's a ray of early morning light kind of piercing down. Must be the entrance, and hopefully, and the entrance, and to your eyes, the exit to these catacombs. You make a run for it. You make a dash for it, and we just hear. All right. Oh, and Matthew didn't hear any of that.
That was unfortunate. I'm sure it was very cool. If you want,
it was very, very cool.
If you need me to interact with it, you can start again for posterity's sake. But if you want to just move on, that's fine.
I don't. Basically, you're rolling for the black gate as well. That's ultimately what it comes down to.
Yep.
All right, so let's go to the roll for your party. All right, we're on the roll for your party. I'm clearing out the dice. First of all, Aubrey, describe the black gate, please.
Okay, so I think of the black gate for Aubrey as it's a circus. She is back in her circus. She is walking through the main stage, or she's walking through the animal pen. She's walking through a sort of a line of caged elephants, or uncaged elephants. The cages are open, but the elephants are sort of roaming free. These are the elephants that are supposed to remember her and sort of keep her grounded as she jumps between these times, these different time vaults. And I think they come to her, and depending on what happens with the roll, they either forget her or not.
Indeed, I love it. Let's have the roll.
This is just 2d6, right?
Yep, 2d6. If you have preparation, I'll give you preparation too.
I think I have. That's an 8, and I don't think I have preparation.
So in this instance, death is the elephants. The elephants will take you or not take you. Is that the idea?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I think that the elephants, the elephants kind of like crisscross, like in your path, and kind of like obscure your vision. But eventually they clear out and they form up ranks on either side of a long hallway. And at the very end of this hallway, you see the sarcophagus of old King Smule, and you're standing there with the bone crown in your hands, right? Because you grabbed it, right? And you know that the only way death is letting you off the hook is if you go and return the bone crown to the sarcophagus, or return it to that space. Do you take this deal, or do you pass beyond the black gate of death?
I'm going to need a minute on that.
All right, we'll come back. Talia, please describe the black gate.
So I think Talia enters through a doorway The doors are pure white, like ivory, sort of, but they also sort of look like bone a little bit. And she enters into this massive theater auditorium, red velvet curtains hanging from everywhere, gold upholstery. It's this grand scale. And instead of the performance being up on stage, lined where the seats would normally be, is rows and rows of performers. It's a massive orchestra, and at the head of it, standing up on the stage, on a raised pedestal, is a figure, a skeletal figure. They have either a mask or it's their face. You can't really tell. They're in this kind of they're in this suit of red, like a red jacket, very severe kind of lines, high collar, and a hat on. And they have what looks like a baton, but it looks like it's made of bone as well. And they're like very severely just conducting like harsh lines and motions. And I'm just walking through the center aisle towards this conductor. And I think the song is the same song that we heard before, but now it's been like arranged for a full orchestra, so we can kind of hear the full brass and string section and everything. And yeah, I just walk up in front of this conductor and they just look down at me with this wand in their hands.
Cool. Do you have any preparation?
I do not. It's an 8.
The conductor makes a request of you. Doesn't speak it in so many words, but you know the truth of it. The conductor beckons you, encourages you even, makes the offer for you to compose a grand symphony. A grand symphony that will bring about an Armageddon, will bring about the destruction of the world. If you take this upon yourself, you will be allowed to return to the mortal world to complete this quest. Otherwise, you're just going to be in the chorus.
And Talia knows that's not enough for her. She has bigger ambitions than that. So I think we just see her kind of like looking up towards the conductor. She understands the gravity of this request and just kind of cocks her head for a moment sideways, almost like she's considering it, but she doesn't do that for long. And she just inclines her head sort of, and I think just turns and like strides out, and the music is just kind of like filling her with inspiration sort of. And she already has like the ideas of some of the melodies and stuff in her mind while she's walking to the exit.
And in our sort of more immediate real world fiction, Talia is running down the hall. You see the shaft of light coming down from a short flight of steps to go up out into the world. You hear this, and it like blasts and hits a column to your left and disintegrates it completely, just like turns it to dust. But you manage to scramble up. You rattle the metal bar door to this entrance, and a guard of some sort sees you and comes and unlocks it, asks you what the hell are you doing in there, and pulls you out and then locks it back up. Back over to Aubrey. Aubrey, are you going to take the bone crown back, or are you going to allow the bone crown to be gotten into someone's hands at some point?
I think Aubrey, I think she's going to do it. I think she's going to give the crown back for a few reasons. One, I don't think that she knows of Smule. Maybe she convinced herself almost that Smule is not necessarily evil, but he's trapped, right? Like Vachulan is still the
really generous interpretation.
Very generous.
But I love it. Delusion. Convince yourself.
and I think she knows that even if she doesn't do it, he's going to get the crown anyway. And so at the very least, this gives her a chance. She's also been broken a little bit, knowing that Diriel was going to betray them all, knowing that Twilight ran away, and we'll perhaps find out soon enough that that Talia has also somehow survived.
Oh yeah, you learned because you learned that Derail was going to betray you, right? Like you do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to do it.
Indeed. Let's just go to epilogues. Derail, you can epilogue however you wish. Either you like eventually being freed from your current state, or maybe just you down in the catacombs for a while as a statue watching time pass by. I'll let you decide. But we can take a short break while you guys, if you want to think about it, give you guys a couple minutes to think about your epilogue, and I'll tell you I'll give you guys the basics of where you're at, just so you can work that into your epilogue. You're nowhere near the land you came from. Ashbaltan's very, very far away. Okay, and you are going to so you are in a keep called the Blue Keep. It is the seat of Lady Elaine Stout of Heart, who has defended it for some time. In the future, you guys don't know this, but in the future, it's going to be assaulted by an evil army, but that's not going to happen for a while. But otherwise, it's in a more northerly part of the world. It's in a colder, wetter part of the world than Ashbaltan was. It's very far away. Many of the people you talk to have never even heard of Ashbaltan. It's, for all intents and purposes, it's like you might as well be in a different world. It's a very, very foreign land. It's much more Western medieval in flavor, if that helps. And yeah, but otherwise, it's you can kind of fill in the fiction as you wish. But we'll take a couple minutes, just think about like the last thing we see of your character on screen for a bit. If you have a character who's all these characters can return in the future, so don't go too far in the future. Maybe just like an indeterminate period of in the future, and just give us a little closing bit of fiction for this adventure. We'll be back in like 2 or 3 minutes.
We fought the good fight. And by good fight, I mean like a really, really bad fight.
Yeah, it was unwise to do that.
This whole session was like just an exercise in how to be unheroic.
Yeah.
How to just be complete losers.
I tried so
hard. In your epilogue, Opry, I would also include a detail about how like you snap out of whatever happened to you. It was a death ray. It was just a literal death ray, but it didn't kill you. So, but you'll need to describe like how you avoided the beholder after that, right, or whatever. So, but whoever wants to go first, and also, well, okay. Well, let's just see how it goes. I think I want to save Derail for last. So we'll do either Talia or Aubrey.
You can go ahead, Matt.
Okay. I think the scene is of Talia. She's got a room in the top level of an inn, and she's kind of, we just see her sitting on the bed. It's very late at night, but she's not sleeping. She's just like, it's clear that she's thinking she's possessed by what had happened to her recently, and she's hearing like melodies and stuff in her head. And all of a sudden, outside of the window, she hears the sound of a string instrument, like a violin, and it's this beautiful sound. Maybe it's a song that she feels like she vaguely knows, but she's not sure she knows it that well. But it almost complements what she was hearing in her mind, and we see her kind of like leave the inn and go out into the street and wandering in search of this music. And she ends up in a cemetery, and we see her like walking through the center path with kind of like lines of graves on either side. It's very much like a reflection of what we saw in the Black Gate for her. And she's walking towards a mausoleum where the sound is coming from. And she enters kind of slowly, and she hears that the acoustics are perfect in this room, and there's someone playing just beautifully, and she emerges from like kind of into the center of the room, and she sees someone wearing clothes that looks like they might be the keeper of this graveyard, or like they might work here or something like that. I think it's a tall, thin man with like long kind of white hair, and he's just playing beautifully. And I think Talia just basically walks up and says, like while he's still playing, I think it's, I've been looking for a composer to work alongside me, and if what you're playing is your own, then I think we could do work together. And then I think I would like just pull out my instrument and just start like accompanying him what he's playing. It's like we're almost like composing on the spot, like it's this improvisational, and we're working on whatever this is together, I think. And you hear what the framework of what will be the symphony in the future.
Fantastic. What about you, Aubrey?
Okay, I imagine myself waking up days later, maybe. I think I'm not corporeal yet. I think, so my peer through the veil move, I can perceive invisible phenomena invisible to mortal eyes, visible manifestations of emotions, astral creatures, etc. And those astral creatures can, I'm supposed to be able to interact with them. I think I am an astral creature at this point that takes the crown and returns it to Smule, and then returns to my body. And at that point, maybe I'm marked in some way, and I think that I will continue to hear Smule's voice as part of like a distraction within my psionic abilities moving forward. But I have some kind of mark that Aubrey's body has now been marked somehow by Smule, and that allows her to move past the beholder, or makes the beholder not care about her presence. I think she leaves. I think she finds she's broken. She doesn't see Talia's body, and so assumes that she has, like everybody else, either escaped or ran away or died. I think I walk past Diriel's. Well, we'll see if I walk past Diriel's petrified body, and I think I'm trying to return to the Shadow Court. I think I'm taking up with a traveling carnival of some sort. I think I become a fortune teller, like the fortune teller that gave me my abilities, and sort of working my way slowly but surely back down to Ashpaltan. And I think this changes my alignment to some type of chaotic or evil alignment. I think sort of in a mechanical way. Yeah, that's what I see.
Fantastic. Derail.
So this takes a little bit of liberty with the fiction, so tell me if this is too far. But I think what happens is like he expects himself to be back with like the huntsman, because he's like dead. But instead he's like in a dark room that is like expansive. You can't tell like how far it goes out, and above him is like a wide web, and I think there's some sort of creature that is like spinning this web in some way, and there's like a voice that resounds out, and it says there's always a price that someone must pay to move within time and change things. And they point to like a strand, and they say like, in this one you were great and heroic, but in this timeline, since you like change things, this is how things work out. And like the strand that is pointed to sort of snaps, and Diriel like collapses to the ground.
Nice. Are you voluntarily passing through the gate, I guess?
Yeah. I think I like the idea of like, if he hadn't been complicit in changing time, like he could have been like this really cool thief that like succeeded or whatever. But since things were changed, he was part of the change and became like a casualty and like a pawn of the Shadow Court, and then like paid the price instead of the Shadow Court.
Nice. Fantastic. I have a coda. The camera flies over a blasted landscape. Most civilizations fell centuries ago. The great races above the surface, or on the surface of the earth. The dwarves, the elves, humans, almost entirely annihilated. The land is stalked by titanic monstrosities that constantly drone out this terrible, terrible song that is all you can hear day and night. It just echoes out, rings out. Buildings are crumbled. Plants don't grow. There's a permanent storm in the sky, and these terrible titanic creatures singing their song, which covers the earth. But deep underground, huddled around a little table, is a trio of hooded, cloaked figures, and an old man wearing a simple, rough-spun robe. And he places a key, a strange, ornate key, in the middle of the table. And behind him is an ornate iron door. And it looks like the key probably goes in that door. And he says, "We have tried and tried to fix this. We have to prevent them from touching that door. We have to prevent them from ever leaving that catacomb. You're our last hope." And they press the keys forward into their hands and send and points them to the vault to see if they can fix this little occurrence. Yeah, and that's it.
Cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was really awesome.
I like Jason just like desperately being like, how do I not kill these people? Basically.
I mean, I feel like I was being honest about it, but because here's the thing, I knew that like it wasn't about like hit points were kind of irrelevant in the fight with the Beholder, right? It wasn't really about hit points. It was about like, do you get hit by the beams or not? And so in order to give you guys some space to survive, I had to give you guys chances to dodge them and stuff, because a hit by the beam was basically like the end, right? I mean, there was kind of no coming back from it. So I think we got the pace of a fight, even though we weren't really like, it wasn't like a hit point attrition type thing. So,
yeah.
But
it felt appropriately scary.
Yeah. And I think in the 2 sessions, like this one and last, I rolled 11 misses.
It's fucking crazy. You're like, it's really crazy. A result that eventually will destroy the world, just FYI.
Whoops.
That will eventually summon titanic beings from the earth that will destroy everything.
Yeah. If Fraser flaps his wings in 2018, the world ends.
Indeed.
Yeah. As soon as like your operator was like, "Oh, I'll just like let him do a move," I was like, "That's the bad choice." You could have succeeded if it was just you, probably. But it was still really fun. It made for awesome fiction. So yeah.
Yep, indeed. Yeah.
Was it implied that last scene was like far in the future? Like what had so just the result of our stuff in general had somehow brought about the end of the world, basically.
You created that symphony. You wrote the symphony.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if that was me.
Yeah,
okay.
you created the symphony that summoned these creatures from the earth. They continue to sing the song while they destroy everything. So.
Oh, hell yeah!
I thought you picked up on that. Sorry,
No. I mean, I figured it might have been, but I wasn't sure if it was like if you wanted to have that played out more at some point in another series. But yeah, it's cool how we play with time and like back and forth.
Right.
And stuff,
yeah. I mean, the next session we will rewind to back to like more immediate future from where you guys were at. But like, if those future Shadow Court members don't go into the vault and stop you guys from fucking up in Vatulan's house, that's going to be the eventual outcome.
Yep.
I like to think that Talia eventually got a quartet to perform it with, kind of like she wanted like more power behind the music, so like other people like herself sort of to be able to perform that, right?
Is the present day of this battle with the Beholder, you said that we were okay, let me rephrase that. The present day of us entering Vatulan's house is also the present day of the Beholder attack,
yes,
right?
Yeah, those are the same. Yeah, you just teleported to a different place, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. And it is roughly before the events of the Bone Crown of Old Kingsmeal, right?
Right.
Yeah,
it's before.
Yeah, it's before that. Yeah.
Because you said that that siege would come later, and that's what Solomon Ives and his merry band were involved in, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. Like that. The basically like the Bone Crown of Old Kingsmeal is the part in the future where like basically Kingsmeal's like summoning people to him, right? He's summoning like terrible beings to his to basically resurrect him, be his army, and all that stuff, right? But there's even like more crazy shit, even deeper. There's even a deeper level than that of like what's actually going on. Go watch that video if you want to know all the story. But basically, yeah, like this took place like kind of before that at some point in time. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining me for an extra session.
The world.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me for this bonus session. I'm glad we did it. I kind of wanted a little bit of extra time. I wanted it for the dungeon, but play to find out what happens. So
yeah. Well, I like how like the Shadow Court people that go into this vault are just going to be like, okay, all we really have to do is get D-Real out of the way.
Walk up, put a bullet in his head, and call it a day.
Yeah.
Well, I think early on there was when I was thinking about how we would start this, because we were still talking with Christo, and I think Christo might have still been entertaining the idea of coming back. I think I was going to push Christo into the door and let him go help Uriel while we disarm the trap.
Right.
But it did not happen.
Yeah. I think like that last desperate band of Shadow Courtiers, I think they can either try to prevent you guys from teleporting in the first place, maybe they try to prevent Talia from escaping the catacomb, or and so forth. I suppose there's lots of different ways they can try to handle it, but
yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the deal. If they don't, we don't know. We'll never know if they will. If they don't, we know what the eventual outcome is. So, even if Talia is not the one to finish the symphony, she's already enlisted someone's help. So someone's going to finish the symphony. The symphony's getting done. So
it's crazy.
The train is on track. Cool. Well, that was super fun. I'm gonna let you guys go.